Welcome back in this episode number 2. I'm so happy I started to share that on the form of a podcast, to share my art, my truth, my heart, and my art. I love it. Get used to the French accent and the English, not so perfect. And that's the perfect transition for my topic of today that I want to talk about, which is perfectionism. It was important for me to talk about it, and I want to talk about many things, and it was just hard to organize my thinking, and I want this podcast to be as natural and authentic as possible. And I'm a very multidimensional being, and I'm a very messy person, so I want more structure, but I also want to go with the flow. With that being said, I wanted to talk about perfectionism because I recently realized how much of a perfectionist I was. I never really identify as someone being perfectionist because I always started before I was ready. You know this sentence that you read everywhere? I'm really into mindset and entrepreneurship, and that's what I teach now, being a holistic coach to help people, but I don't know, I always started everything before I was ready. And so I never really identify as perfectionist because I was like, no, I don't need everything to be perfect in my life. I don't have like everything super organized and my days, blah, blah, blah. But I realized very recently, through a lot of pain, if you listen to episode number 1, you know that I'm going through a lot of sadness and a very hard time of my life. And this has shed light onto aspects of myself I didn't thought were there. And perfectionism is one of those aspects that I couldn't see in myself. And I see it in all of my clients, literally. Because I think when you reach out for a coach, it means that you have this desire to grow, to heal, to be a better person. And the line becomes very thin between I want to be a better person and I'm not enough and I'm not perfect enough and I want to do everything better. And I came to realize through my own experience of being a yoga teacher and then intuitive healer and now a holistic coach, I realized that people are so hard on themselves. I don't even know if that was correct English again. I struggle. I struggle with this language, but at the same time, it comes quite naturally. Bear with me. I want to start by talking about something that happened just today, a few hours ago. I received a text from one of my beautiful friends and she started drawing again, and she drew some super cute rabbits, and she told me something that made me think. She told me like, I have stopped drawing because I thought I was not good at it and I was not producing anything beautiful, so I just stopped, and now I just don't give a fuck anymore. And I did it and I loved it, and it made my day. It literally made my day because it reminded me of my own story when also in episode number 1 I talk about how I discovered myself in London. When I moved to London when I was 22 years old, I get back to really know myself and I reconnect with my spirituality, but as well with my creativity. And I start painting again. And now I really consider myself as an artist. It's not my living and I don't pretend to do anything that is beautiful or anything, but I create some art. So I'm an artist, you know. I'm joking because, as I explained also before, identity is just something that keep us prisoners, and this is just a joke. But I realized that for so long I was not painting, just like my friend, because I thought that I was not good at it. That was not good enough to do it. And then, spiritual awakening happened in London, and I'm like, fuck that. I'm just gonna create because I want to play with colors, because I want to express something, just for the sake of it. And I think this is one example, but there is so many other things. And right now what I'm really realizing is that I was trying to be so perfect in my relationship. I'm gonna still talk about my breakup because it's obviously what is going through in my life right now, and expressing it is also very healing for me. And this is through that I'm learning so many lessons. Anyway, through this breakup, I realized that I was trying to be perfect as a partner. I was trying to be perfect as a lesbian because I fell in love with a woman, and it was the first time. I've been with guys my entire life before that. I think I will do another episode on my coming out story, maybe. But anyway, I wanted to be perfect for her family because I knew how important family was for her. So I tried so hard to be perfect, to say the right thing, to be the best person to. So I was never really true to myself. And I realized that all of that comes back that I just wanted to be perfect for myself. That I'm in this journey for 8 years now of learning and growing spiritually and in my personal healing and growth and spiritual development, personal development, on changing my mindset, changing my life, changing my career. And I'm so proud of the person I become. And I read a lot of books. I read all the books about spiritual and personal development. I did all the exercise. I followed some coaching, and I still do, about spirituality, about, I had a lot of experiences of going inside and doing the work. And so I have a big database in my brain, like in my mind. Like, I know a lot of things. And just before the breakup, I remember listening to one of my favorite podcasts, which is Manifestation Babe. I just love her so much. She's so inspiring. And it was an old episode about saying I know. And I felt so damn triggered. And I really invite you to go and check out this episode because it triggered me so much, and it was like a click in my head. But basically what she was saying is that when we say I know, it means that, like, she was just saying, like, stop saying that. Like, I stopped saying I know, and it changed my life because we need repetition. We need to learn again and again and again and again. And everything that I'm sharing in this podcast, it sounds so new for me, like it's a revelation from now, but it's actually not. Like, it's stuff that I already knew, and now I just feel called to share it and to express it with my voice. And I know that most of the things I'm going to say in this podcast, you know it already, except for my personal journey. But every concept, every thought and belief, or every, I don't want to call it lessons because I'm not trying to give any lessons. I'm just trying to share from my heart my truth, so that my truth can help and support you to not feel alone and to feel like you are not alone, you are understood, you are seen and heard, and we are part of this experience, human experience together. That's my mission behind recording my voice. And going back to perfectionism, so I stay a bit on track, I realized that I was trying so hard to be perfect. And how did I realize that? I just observed through the pain, like everything that I was going through. It was like I was looking at life through lenses that was completely blurred and I couldn't really see anything. But I could feel that something was kind of off within me and I was forcing stuff to happen. And, then I didn't expect that breakup and it came with so much pain that I lost control completely. And because I lost control, I also became way more humble and I could see stuff that I couldn't see before. And one of this was this tendency of trying to be perfect. And then, I could also see it even better in my coaching session with my private clients, one-on-one clients, that we were working so hard together to get to that 2.0 version of themselves, to have a better life, more fulfilling, a stress-free life. And I could see, oh, but wait, the line is very thin. The line is very, very thin between I'm just trying to be a better person out of love, out of this is my truth, this is who I am, this is what I am, this is, I just, oh my God, I love myself so much that of course I want to change stuff, but change is just because I love myself now and I'm excited. I have so much joy and passion behind change and behind becoming more free, more authentic, and having this life that I really want, and having less judgment towards myself, and especially like having less fear controlling my life. I really want to dedicate one entire episode about fear because this is one of my favorite subjects ever. But it's not going to be on this one. Trying to be perfect was just ruining my life, and it ruined my relationship, not only with my partner and with her family and with my own family and with my friends and with my clients, but also with myself, because I had this huge list of should and shouldn't, or I have to and I shouldn't, and this is good and this is bad. And let me tell you, this is the worst thing you can do to yourself. And I know that if you're probably listening to that, you're probably interested in somehow growing our personal development or just having a better life. I'm sure we all strive, like, how do we say that? We all crave for that. We crave for love and connection. We crave for being happy, being fulfilled. So I'm sure if you have this desire of growth, sometimes it can be very complicated to see if it's coming from love or from hate or from judgment of like, this is not good, I shouldn't do that, I shouldn't do this, or I shouldn't do that, or I should do this or I should do that. Let me give you a concrete example. I talked last week about jealousy. I'm going to talk today about control. I really knew with all the work that I did for so many years, 8 years of my life, that I'm learning about that, growing about that, experiencing many things. And the person I was 8 years ago, I couldn't even recognize her. But I'm into that. I know a lot of things. And I know that being controlling is bad. And it's part of like our darkness, if I can call it that way. And this is where, when I had a feeling of control coming inside of me, instead of looking at it and just recognize that is here, it's in my body, it's in my experience, it's in my emotion on this very moment, I was trying to be like, no, it doesn't exist. You're such a spiritual person. You're such a loving, caring, compassionate person. You cannot be controlling. You shouldn't be like this. And what happened when you accept it? When you take a breath and you're like, okay, what do I feel? Okay, I feel controlling right now. I'm trying to control what my partner is doing in the morning, first thing in the morning. Very concrete example. I was very controlling and very judgmental towards my partner scrolling her phone in the morning. And I've been doing that to a lot of people because I know for myself many years ago, first thing in the morning, scrolling my phone. And then I discovered the power of putting my phone away for the first hour of the day. And let me tell you, it changed my life. And I felt so much better because I was owning my day. I started my day with just myself, not ingesting anything else on the outside. And I loved that so much, and it helped me to really change my life for the better. So because I had this, I wanted to give it to people. I want to help, I out of love. Out of love, I was sure that I was doing it out of love. I was telling my partner that it was so bad that she shouldn't be scrolling her phone in the morning, that she should start her day at least like first moments of the day, like, I don't know, having a thought of gratitude or something, because it changed my life for the better. And it was like a gift for myself to be more aligned with my truth, to be more happy in my day-to-day life, and to have a life that I'm very proud and very fulfilled, that I wanted the best for the person with me. I really wanted the best for her. So I had this controlling thing. And let me tell you, like, that's okay. That's not a big deal. I judged myself for a very long time, and it's still quite like painful to even talk about it, because I still have a bit of judgment towards myself. But that's where I'm coming at. The thing is, when I found this, instead of pausing for a moment and being like, okay, why are you controlling? Okay, you're doing it because you love her. But is it the way you want to love? And the answer would have been no. Like, I don't want to love her because she does what I think is good for her. I want to love her for who she is. That's how I want to love people in my life, my family, my friends, even strangers. I want to love strangers that I see online on Instagram or whatever, and being like, this is their truth. I don't need to control everything in their life. This is, and you know it, right? I'm guessing I'm speaking to some people that knows that control is just a need for reassurance, a need to feel safe. And it comes from a mix of not recognizing my own needs behind it and my fears. I think the fear behind it was the difference. You want to control situation when they scare you, when you need some stability, kind of. This is where you need control, and control gives you this sense of safety, of knowing where you're going and what is going to happen next. Because this uncertainty of the future, that we only live in the present, but we always stress out about the future. And that's human, that's normal to feel that way, because we don't know what's going to happen. We have this fake sense of safety and control and security that the next minute is going to be the same. And literally, I could die right now. Like, I could die in 1 minute more, or something major could happen. And some people, I always said that, and people were like, you're so dramatic. Like, if you think like this, blah, blah, blah. But this is true. Like, what proof do you have that you're going to be the same person, that you're going to still be alive, that your family, your relationship, that your life, your career, everything's going to stay the same in the next 5 minutes? We have no fucking clue. And this is scary. And in order to get reassurance, we tend to control our lives. And that's completely fine. That's completely okay. We do that because we have some needs. And I think it's very important to be connected to our needs, because when you go into that, like, what do you actually need? What do you actually feel behind this control, behind this judgment of a tiny little thing like my partner scrolling her phone in the morning? Then you realize it's not about what the other person is doing. It's never about what the other person is doing. Let me tell you that. We believe it is. We believe it's the others that are our source of our suffering, or this is society. And I truly believe, and this is just my own truth, you don't have to follow, you don't have to share the same beliefs as me, but I truly do believe that we are our own source of suffering. And it's easier to blame the fault on the other persons around us, it's easier to blame it on society or on anything that we reject and we don't like, and it's harder to take responsibility for who we are and what we do and how we feel. And I feel you, I get you. If you're in this situation, I've been there, I'm still there, and I think we are just humans, so we experience this. This is completely okay. I want to share also something that is linked to trying to be perfect and trying to have this thing. Is one of my friend recently we talked about, she told me like, oh, I know you're really into personal development and stuff, but like I'm really like against it. And we started talking about it, and I couldn't agree more with what she was saying, because this is a belief that I also really shared, is like, and I told you, I'm sick and tired of this fake positivity and this fake like facade. I know now, I mean, I feel like now social media has changed a lot, and a lot of people are actually talking about like more vulnerable subjects and about their pain and their stories, and when everything is dark and when everything is hard. Like I feel like now people are opening up more and less sharing like all the optimistic and being positive basically. And I think this is very, very, very important to remind ourselves that we are here on this planet experiencing a human experience. So we will never ever be perfect. And I need to keep this reminder for myself, because I'm very, very, very hard on myself. I have a lot of expectations on what I should be doing and stuff. So trust me, if you feel like it, if you have a very strong should and shouldn't list, have to, and you know, right and wrong, and sometimes you love yourself for some aspect of yourself, and sometimes you hate yourself because you think you're not being your higher self or the best version of yourself. Let me tell you, this is bullshit. You can be the best version of yourself and experiencing some feelings and emotions that doesn't match with that higher version of yourself. Because you are a human, so you are not a soul. You are a soul in a body. And the body has an ego. And the ego is here to protect you. The ego is here to keep you safe. The ego has to feeling of fear. We need to feel afraid of dying, otherwise we won't keep the integrity of our bodies. We won't experience that human experience if we didn't have that. And I really see the ego, and like there is so many definitions, and some people associated so many things behind ego, but here I'm talking more about this, you know, automatic reactions and system of fears and system of you know, all the shadows as well, but just this thing that is trying to keep us safe and that is afraid of dying and suffering. And so this is the thing that we were talking about, control or jealousy or judgments. To me, this is the ego. And the ego is also the person, like very simple, concrete example, when, you know, you're like, no, I'm not going to send the first message, or I'm not going to say sorry first. This is bullshit. This is the ego trying to protect himself because we are afraid. And something that really, really helps me is to go into the fear. And I told you I'm going to do a full episode on fear because I'm passionate about this subject. But here I mean going, like, if you see you're controlling, or if you see you're jealous, using jealousy again as an example. You're feeling jealous. Okay, why do I feel jealous? And then you go inside and you're like, oh, because I'm afraid of being rejected. Okay, why are you afraid of being rejected? I'm afraid of being rejected because I'm afraid of being alone. I'm afraid of being alone because I'm afraid that I will die if I'm alone. And then to me, when I reach that point of like, I'm afraid to die, I'm like, oh, okay, that's normal. I'm human. I'm afraid to die. I'm afraid to be alone. Everybody at some point experience those fears. And I see it in my clients, I see it in my friends, in my family, in all the persons and the people around me. So it's okay. That's my invitation for you, is to realize that no matter what, it's okay. It's just okay. That's my new mantra. I think we should start very small. And see, I just see should. I think, yeah, maybe we could try, if that resonates with you. And that's what I'm doing right now in my life. To try to replace all those affirmations of like, I'm the strongest person I know, or I love myself so much, I'm open to receive, or I'm this or I'm that, by just I'm human and that's okay. That's my new mantra. And it really helped me to navigate everything, especially the things that is hard to see and hard to recognize, like the pain, the sadness, the control, the thing that we have a tendency of judging on each other. So on one, no, not on each other, on ourselves. Sorry. I'm losing the thread of my thought because I'm close to 30 minutes and I really want to keep it kind of short. I don't know if 30 minutes is a short podcast, and I'm just happy to express it and to share the lessons, because I know that expressing my truth and my story is also expressing what I see in my one-on-one coaching, what I see with my friends as well. And I know we are so many experiencing that, and I really do believe that it's time to share that. It's time to share more of that, so that we fully accept our humanity, our humanness, that it's okay, that we don't have to run after being that perfect version of ourselves where we are just like a soul. We are an angel on this planet and we love everybody unconditionally, and we never judge, and we never hurt, and we are never jealous, and we are always like climbing into clouds. I don't even know if that makes sense in English. It doesn't even make sense in French, so I have no excuse. But yeah, this is an episode to tell you that no matter what you're experiencing, whether it's good or bad, whether you should be doing it or you shouldn't, this is okay. You're perfect the way you are, and you will never, ever be perfect. So let's give up this idea. Let's forget about it. And let's start living our truth, living those waves, riding those waves of life that is beautiful, and not building ourselves by removing the shadow, by removing what is wrong about us, but just like seeing it for what it is, with love and compassion, with love and compassion. And even when you don't succeed, to see it with love and compassion. Just bring compassion to that. Being compassionate about not being compassionate. Being like, okay, sometimes you won't have the tools or the ability to bring that compassion in your life. Sometimes you're going to judge yourself. Sometimes you're not going to be in that self-love, unconditional love, whether it's with yourself, with your partner, with your family, with your friends, with your colleagues, in your work, in your life. And that's okay. That's okay. That's okay. That's okay. What really helps me is to physically pause for a moment, put my hands on my chest, on my heart, maybe both hands on my chest, and tell myself, it's okay, I'm human. It's okay, I'm human. Have a beautiful, beautiful rest of your day. I send you all my love and support.